It's surprisingly simple to get total strangers completely furious with you. They should get a life.
From the period of 2020 and 2022, two words were repeated on everyone's social media timeline like their life depended on it. Nepotism and boycott. If you were having a discussion on Hindi cinema and did not mention these words, it was almost considered to be a dated and irrelevant discussion on the industry. This especially spiraled out of control after the passing of Sushant Singh Rajput, in turn creating a perception and feeling that everything that Hindi cinema represents is evil and anti-India. This is also the time where targeted political and religious attacks were flung towards Hindi film celebrities, where the analysis was not about the content of the movies, but about the actors' political leanings and personal preferences of living life too. When such a toxic environment became normalized and everyone assumed that they could get away with anything if Bollywood is their target, two phenomena sprung up. Why is Hindi cinema not taking a unified legal stand against such targeted attacks, and the perception that everything the south of India represents, with no nuance about the state, everything that the South represents is of the utmost grace, culture, the mouthpiece of everything Sabhyata and Sanskriti, and that India should be proud of. Even though most of these trolls lacked any kind of knowledge about the movies that come in week in and week out across the 5 states in the south of India, they were happy with the narrative that Pushpa and KGF are giving a muh-tod jawab to Bollywood. While Hindi cinema was getting dragged left, right and centre for not only the poor financial performances of their movies, but for how they led their personal lives too, there were only murmurs of paid negative PR campaigns against the industry. The likes of movies like Brahmastra, Pathan and Lal Singh Chadda released in highly toxic environments where the violence was not just restricted to online forums and pages but was leading to vandalism and disruption in real life. This became eerily silent when Hindi cinema came back with a bang in 2023 and ruled the box office with massive hits. Suddenly, the same industry that was being touted as being dead or running its course to become irrelevant was thriving like never before. The point being, in the course of outrage, judgment and criticism on social media, always remember this. The rhythm always goes from warranted, justifiable criticism to straight up name calling and bullying. The distance between Salman Khan is a lazy actor to Salman Khan ek jihadi mansikta rakhta hai is poles apart. But social media creates an environment where people have the courage to say both things, assuming that it falls under the umbrella of criticism. Remember this. In an environment where someone becomes the villain, when someone becomes an easy target, when you realize that the herd is wanting to burn someone at the stake, everyone wants to contribute to the show. There will always be film industry elements that intentionally invest in burning other people's businesses in the same industry. But the nature of social media will always be who is the next target. I want to straight up say this to all of you. I will never stand for profanity, personal jabs or insults on actors when simply a movie is being reviewed. But this toxic environment has also led to the creation of the laziest defense for bad work. You label every criticism leveled at your film as a conspiracy, a clear investment of a false negative PR orchestrated by a rival camp. My incompetence as a storyteller, as an actor, gets this easy cushion of people wanting my downfall, never making you self-reflect that you may have made a terrible movie. And I feel like this is where the makers of Raja Saab and Prabhas are rightfully being called out, but the loyal fans and the creators themselves are refusing to accept that the rejection of the audience for the film is because of the quality of the movie, not some targeted conspiracy. The criticism leveled against Prabhas, his approach towards film roles and the laziness that is creeped in with his energy in front of camera is nothing new. It has always been noticed by many and finally reached a point where it has pivoted to trolling too. When the same transition happens to Hindi film actors, there is almost a celebration in pulling the actors down. But I sense that now fan pages are almost flabbergasted that the same environment where people were frothing in the mouth to take down other actors, the script is getting flipped, and one can't process this becoming a reality. Prabhas as an actor benefited largely in Salar with the way Prashant Neel directed him, handing him over minimal dialogue, staging and editing action sequences carefully where Prabhas's usage of the dupes never got exposed, and what could have come across as lazy and stiff became intentional and focused. However, when you think about the disastrous roles in movies like Radhe Shyam, Adipurush and Raja Saab, there is almost a casual segregation everyone assumes between the project and the star, as if what is only at fault is the project, and every criticism leveled at Prabhas as an actor gets protected under the cushion of how did Prabhas agree to do this, Prabhas got trapped in this project, Prabhas has a knee surgery he is still suffering from, Prabhas is a humble sweet man, any excuse to simply protect him against criticism, which makes me really baffled because this is not charity, this is not social service, this is hundreds of crores being pocketed as fees, and one has the freedom of choice rather than consistently subjecting themselves to work they are not fit for. I know every Prabhas fan would love for their star to take a backseat, take a break, get healthier, and then get on an intense schedule where he is fully ready than going through the rigmarole of defending their favorite star for the mediocre work he does. The Raja Saab trolling is largely not because there is an agenda against the movie or star, but because the movie is objectively poor. It further is getting trolled because of the director's confidence in announcing his address, urging fans that if anyone is dissatisfied after the movie, they should land up at his home. It is the combination of the investment in the project, the overconfidence of the creators, and the terrible product that was eventually served that the movie is getting dragged, versus this conspiracy theory that paid agents are after the movie and actor. Similarly, I want to speak about a few actors who are getting excessively trolled on social media in the last few days. Varun Dhawan is an actor who I believe benefits from the empathy and protection that someone like Abhishek Bachchan gets. Every time a movie featuring him is terrible, both from a screenplay and performance POV, everyone goes back to the two movies that showcase Varun's ability, Badlapur and October. The moment someone doubts his capability in a movie, they reference these two movies. This is a similar predicament that Abhishek Bachchan experienced in the 2010s. When Abhishek was dragged for movies like Houseful 3 and Happy New Year, people used to defend it by mentioning the dream run he had with films like Yuva, Guru, Dhoom and Sarkar. The criticism and call-out would be for a specific film, but the defense is to reference the spurts of hope seen in a completely different project. The consistent criticism, however, I have always had for Varun is that he doesn't have anchored energy, especially in the way he performs songs. You will notice this with choreography that requires a level of softness and flair. Varun ends up throwing his energy, performing many of these songs like he is still performing on the stage with his ABCD crew. The energy would require some restraint like in a song like Tumkeshwari, but the energy is always disproportionate to the pitch of the song. Something fun does not mean it has to be violently energetic, and this is the sole reason why there is criticism for Varun's snippet in Ghar Kab Aoge. The energy that should be slightly anchored is extremely performative. Something that should be internalized and felt is performed like he were performing a live IFA performance. And please remember this, when social media smells blood, they don't let it go. So for the next fortnight or so, until the next star or celebrity becomes meme material, please remember you are in the ring of shame. Am I denying that this will be partly fueled by someone else's paid PR? No. But it is true of the beast. You remember the trolling that Arjun Kapoor received for his underworld meme and how it spread for any situation in life? How the leaked phone call of Kapil Sharma has spread where he is abusing a journalist? Sometimes memes pick up, influencers smell blood of engagement, and then at least for the next week you get iterations of it. So Varun was the new target, and his crooked smile, similar to what John Abraham gets called out for, is what gets clowned on. I know Varun has a great sense of humor and laughs most things off. Varun himself with Prajakta Kohli has laughed at himself on such a feature that has become a regular occurrence in his film appearances. So when the producer of Border 2 starts calling all the criticism stemming from anti-nationals, or Varun and his team assume that it's an attempt to sabotage his career and movie intentionally, it's not entirely true. It's also spreading because the memes are just funny. Social media thrives on engagement, and while elements of paid PR may exist in this environment, please remember that some of the trolling is for genuinely funny, silly, and sometimes warranted elements. When it progresses to become excessive and ludicrous, the internet moves on to the next actor who is meme material. Speaking of which, the new meme is that men are getting exposed in 2026. Men who are in relationships are getting trolled on social media for approaching women while being in relationships. Now, because the meme has become viral, everyone wants to partake in the downfall of social media influencers or actors, or even cricketers in some regards. So private chats of even single famous people are being exposed, in turn losing the purpose of calling out cheaters. I literally saw posts, reels of creators teasing like a trailer, exposing influencers, like wait till you find out what he did, and then not exposing anything, just benefiting from the engagement that the teaser got. The controversy around Kartik Aaryan is absolutely wild in the last few weeks. Everyone knows about the use of PR by actors. Kartik has spoken about the importance of its use, and that whatever he may be doing to spread the word about himself is less because it helps in positioning in the industry. This is, however, the first time I may have seen Kartik and his team not even attempt to defend the quality of Tu Mera, Main Tera, Tu Meri, or whatever that movie was. Just a casual, let's act as if that never happened. Talk about social media detectives and the internet caught a hold of stories while he was on vacation, identities of a girl, speculation of their age, accusations galore, and while I cannot confirm or deny anything in this case, you have to know that social media smelled blood and Kartik was getting called out and trolled. This is not some conspiracy or some paid PR negative campaign, but someone just smelling blood and then rightfully calling out people. Again, I can neither confirm or deny whatever happened there. This is a very important point to observe even with someone like Kartik. And I'm going to say this very bluntly, when you're in the ringer of trolling and abuse, either for what has happened off camera or your performance in front of camera, the defense of being an outsider is now sounding like a tape recorder to the audience. This recurring nature of seeking for empathy from the audience whenever trolled, something rightfully gets called out, and the immediate defense being that we should feel bad for someone because of where they come from has run its course. The journey shouldn't excuse terrible behavior, one, and it shouldn't be the defense of terrible performances too. At least he is better than other Nepo babies is not the bar you keep when you strive towards becoming a Bollywood star, or at least wanting to become one. People should take you seriously. Finally, I want to conclude by saying I'm not denying camps may be working against each other with paid PR to drag other actors, but I think it's about time that actors get out of their echo chamber of yes men, smell the coffee and realize that all the trolling and criticism is not a part of some larger conspiracy all the time. And maybe, just maybe, your movie, your performance, and your behavior may just be terrible. So maybe it's rightfully being called out. Indulging in something like self-reflection may do you wonders versus consistently thinking that people are praying, planning, and conspiring for your downfall.
How arrogant are you to think that you deserve to go through life with no one ever saying anything that you don't agree with or like?